It's 1:30, so I'd like to call this meeting to order for the zoning board. The purpose of this hearing is for petition number 2022-029. This is a request for a renewal of a conditional use permit 12-004 to allow outside storage of recreational vehicles. The applicant is Don and Kimberly Behrens. The address for this petition is 3510 Lily Pond Road, Woodstock, Illinois, part of PIN number 13-23-200-002. The property consists of approximately 3.93 acres and is located on the east side of Lily Pond Road, approximately 1,000 feet northeast of the intersection of US Route 14 and Lily Pond Road in Door Township. I'm going to let the board introduce themselves, starting at my far right, your name and township in which you reside.
Robert Cozen, Algonquin Township.
Thomas Jers, Coral Township.
Charlie Eldridge, Richmond Township.
Linnea Kustra, Alden Township.
Vicki Gartner, Nunda Township.
Kurt Schnabel, Riley Township.
Jessica Beverly, Door Township.
That's just to let you know that we comply with the state law that you can't have more than one person in any township within the county. So we're diversified. The petition has been reviewed and the following items have been received prior to today's hearing. The publisher's certificate of publication from the newspaper is dated September 17th, 2022. The affidavit of posting was signed and date posted was September 15, 2022. The affidavit of mailing was signed and date mailed was September 14th, 2022. The survey has been checked against the petition, the legal notice, and the publication in the newspaper, and all three match. The filing fees have been paid. The endangered species consultation was not required for this petition. And the McHenry County Soil and Water District report has been received. All those who would like to give testimony today, I would like to swear you in. So if you are going to be speaking at all today, this includes staff or any members of the public, just raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, the way the hearing works is that the petitioner is allowed to make your case. You can give us, all the things about your renewal, what you'd like to do. Then the board can ask questions of you, and seeing that there's no public here that would like to ask questions, then when we're finished with that, then the staff will give their report and we can ask questions of the staff. You can ask questions of the staff as well, and then at the end of that you can give your closing statement, and then we'll open a voting meeting at the end of that time. So at this point, we'll just turn it over to you to present your case.
Thank you, Ms. Kustra.
And please introduce yourself as your turn.
For the record, Tyler Wilkie on behalf of the petitioner.
My name is Don Behrens, owner.
And this is for the renewal of a conditional use permit for the outdoor storage of recreational vehicles on the property at 3510 Lily Pond Road in Woodstock. And if I may, Mr. Behrens, could you state your name for the record?
My name is Donald Behrens,
And your current address, please.
2107 Red Barn Court, Woodstock.
And are you the petitioner in this matter?
Yes,
And you're the current owner of the property in question?
correct.
How long have you been operating the outdoor storage of RVs on this property?
We've had the property for 2 years and it's been in effect for 10 years.
Have you had any complaints from the neighbors or violations from the county related to this use?
No,
Are you asking for any difference from the use allowed under the 2012 ordinance?
no, I'm not.
Have you reviewed the staff report?
Yes,
Do you agree with the conditions suggested by staff?
yes,
Have you complied with the stormwater management ordinance?
yes,
When this was approved in 2012, were the standards met for the conditional use received then?
yes,
Do you believe that the surrounding area of agriculture and gravel mining is compatible with this use?
yes,
Does the outdoor storage of RVs endanger the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the surrounding area?
No, it does not.
In your opinion, will the conditional use be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other properties in the area?
No,
Do you believe that continued use of your property will diminish or impair the property values?
no,
Are there currently adequate utilities, access roads, and drainage on the facilities?
yes,
Has the conditional use operation been designed to provide ingress and egress to minimize the traffic congestion and hazard on the public streets?
yes,
And has the conditional use conformed to the applicable standards of the underlying zoning?
yes,
Is it your request at this time that the Zoning Board of Appeals recommends to the County Board that the conditional use granted in 12-004 be renewed for an additional 10 years to allow for the outside storage of recreational vehicles?
yes,
Finally, do you ratify and confirm the contents in the petition 2022-004?
yes.
Nothing further.
Questions from the board, starting with, on my left?
Yeah. On the left, you said?
On my left, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Beverly.
Can you tell me a little bit about what the condition of the RVs is when they're stored? Are the fluids drained at all?
Most of the campers are all towed by trucks, cars, whatever out there. So no, there is no fluids, everything is drained out of the vehicles when they bring them back in. As far as I know, to my knowledge, and we've never seen anything leaking, nothing out there at all.
Do you do regular PMs or checks on the vehicles? You walk the area to make sure that everything's in order?
Yes.
And that's documented as part of your business operations?
My son lives down there on the property, so he's there every day, and he checks out the property. I'm down there also every single day, keep an eye on the property. We never see anything leaking, et cetera.
Okay. That's all.
Yes, I was just curious. I know what RVs are, I know what tow-behinds are.
Kurt, would you just identify yourself for whoever's recording?
This is Kurt Schnabel, I'm sorry. We're missing our microphones. Could you give me a breakdown as far as the types of vehicles that would normally be there and the quantity of them?
There's probably about 20 campers maybe, and they're, almost all of them are towable campers behind cars, pickup trucks. They come in out occasionally during the summer. In the wintertime, there's no activity at all.
Is there any boat storage at all?
Boat storage, no, there's no boats out there at this time at all. It's pretty much just campers.
That's all I have for the moment.
Vicki Gardner, how many do you think you can store on this property?
The original owner had, when we purchased the property, we just continued what they had with their contracts with
Right.
the people. So I think there's roughly 25 at the most out there inside the square footage area that they had originally.
Is that the gravel
gravel
area
area,
that's
yes.
on the, yes,
Yep.
okay. And you said most of these are towable, but some of them are drivable?
There is one or two that will be there, but they usually leave and they take them to a campground for the summer, then they'll bring them back
Okay.
for the winter time. That's what
Okay.
they'll usually do.
And you said there's no boats there now, but you made it sound like there could be in the future.
Yeah, no, we haven't had anybody request for boats.
Okay, if
there.
somebody did, would you give them a spot?
Depends if we have room. I mean, it's mainly all been campers. We haven't had any requests for boats at all. It's all been camper space, and everybody's been renewing their contracts every year
Okay.
for campers. That's pretty much what we've been doing the last
Okay.
couple of years.
So are there any campers that are there like permanently, like nobody ever comes and gets them, they just stay there all
No.
the time?
As far as I know, no. My son keeps an eye on that stuff every day, and he's up to date, make sure everybody has tags on their vehicles so that they're, can be taken out
Okay,
and
so-
functionable.
So these are all well-maintained
Yes.
campers that are used regularly?
I don't want garbage around.
Thank you, okay. That's all I have, thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Alter.
I have no questions at this time.
No questions.
I have a
Yeah, go ahead.
question. Robert Cozen, Algonquin Township.
Yes.
In addition to other recreational vehicles, snowmobiles or any snowmobile trailers?
No. No.
There is a residence to the east. In your knowledge, is that residence occupied?
To the east, so that would be, yes. Yes, that is our house also. That's where my son lives at. So he keeps an eye on the property daily.
I have no further questions.
Okay, and then there's a driveway that goes, that's kind of west of the conditional use, and there's a home there. Is that your home as well?
No, that's not ours.
All right, so
We
that's.
just have the driveway that's in the inside border of yellow. That is the access road down to the property.
Okay, and then as that continues around, that's where your son lives, and that's where he can monitor the situation?
Yes, correct.
So just to, again, affirm, all the vehicles have their current registration on them to be used?
Yes, and we have tow signs out there in case people do not abide. And we've never had any issues yet with any of that stuff.
So this has been a property that's, how long has your son lived there? Just when you purchased the property
Yes.
2 years ago?
We purchased it about 2 years ago.
Okay. So as far as you're aware, there's been no changes in the last 10 years, and you don't anticipate any changes in the next 10 years?
Nope.
It'll continue as it has been?
Yes.
Okay. No other questions? Staff, does staff have any questions?
No questions.
Okay, and so seeing there's no public to ask questions, then we will take testimony from the public with the planning staff.
The who?
The planning staff, yes, if you want to
Okay.
just update us on your report.
Yeah,
your
okay, so
findings.
real quick, the property is currently zoned A1 with a conditional use permit for the storage of recreational vehicles. The surrounding zoning is largely A1 with incorporation to the west. Surrounding land uses, there's the earth extraction to the north and to the west, ag to the east, and residential to the south. Your future land use is for residential in this area. The proposed conditional use would not be detrimental to a future redevelopment to residential, should that ever occur. That was a slide that I meant to delete, sorry about that. So that in a nutshell is the history of this particular property.
Chairman? Sorry,
So, yeah, go ahead.
I had just questions for staff.
Go ahead, Mr. Cozen.
Thank you. Did Door Township ever respond with a comment?
No,
Did Woodstock ever respond with a
No.
comment? And did Crystal Lake ever respond?
No.
That concludes my questions.
Any other board members have questions for staff? Go ahead. Sorry.
Just a
Mr.
matter of
Elder.
clarification. It's my presumption that staff recommends approval of the petition.
it's my understanding that this department does not make recommendations for conditional uses.
But you don't have objections.
But we don't have any objections to this, that's correct.
Okay, that's that.
This is Linnea Kustra, for staff. Woodstock owns the property to the east of Lily Pond Road. Is that where their solar farm is going to be? I remember something in the press about solar farm being.
I'm not aware of a solar farm in this area.
It's gonna be at the corner of Lily Pond and 14 over there.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
In that green area, or it would be in the incorporated area, correct?
It is in the incorporated area, 'cause it is in Woodstock.
Well, I guess staff doesn't know the answer to
Yeah,
that, but maybe
I
some.
do not know.
Okay, okay. Okay, so if there's no other questions, we will allow you to make a closing statement if you would like, Mr. Wilkie.
Thank you. For the reasons set forth, we believe that we have met the conditions for the conditional use permit. We would ask that this board extend and renew CUP 12-004 for an additional 10 years.
And you're fine with the conditions proposed by staff?
Yes.
Okay.
So 10 years. If we start at 12,
So that doesn't go.
yeah.
So at this time, if there's no objection, we will close this meeting and open a voting meeting. So the hearing is closed, and now I will open voting meeting, and the order of business for this voting meeting is to vote on petition number 2022-029. This is the renewal of conditional use permit 12-004 to allow outside storage of recreational vehicles. The address is at 3510 Lily Pond Road, Woodstock, Illinois. Property consists of approximately 3.93 acres and located on the east side of Lily Pond Road, approximately 1,000 feet northeast of the intersection of US Route 14 and Lily Pond Road in Door Township. Part of PIN number 13-23-200-002. At this time, I would entertain a motion.
Shouldn't we go through conditions first?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for that. Proposed conditions for this petition. Thank you, Charlie. Staff has proposed 4 conditions for this permit. I'll read through those. Number 1, the conditional use permit shall expire 10 years from the date of approval by the McHenry County Board or sooner if outdoor storage has ceased for a period of more than 12 consecutive months. Number 2, parking and storage of recreational vehicles shall be limited to the area designated as existing gravel parking lot on the attached after-the-fact site plan dated July 23, 2010, and prepared by Heritage Land Consultants, LLC. Number 3, maintenance of recreational vehicles shall be prohibited on the site. Number 4, all other federal, state, and local laws shall be met.
Excuse me, Madam Chair.
Are there any other proposed conditions?
If we can go back to condition 3.
Yes, sir.
I would like to give consideration to adding a reference to the county ordinance, specifically the definition of recreational vehicles as found under Article 17-04260. It was a subject of conversation here, and it would give clarity to the applicant in the next 10 years of what constitutes a recreational vehicle.
Is that a motion?
And I would therefore make that motion: maintenance of a recreational vehicle as defined in the county ordinance shall be prohibited on the site.
I'll second.
The motion is made by Mr. Cozen that we would add behind vehicles in number 3 as defined by the Unified Development Ordinance.
Actually, it applies to the entirety of the county code, so it's the county ordinance. It was
By county ordinances.
And since we have a specific citation here,
added at your leisure.
so we'll add the citation to the motion, or to the conditions if that's acceptable to the board. You understand what I'm saying?
Let me read that into the record.
Okay.
Okay, so this citation would be recreational vehicle or travel trailer from Article 17-04.260, Appendix 12 of the Unified Development Ordinance. Is that where this comes from? It doesn't say the source of this.
It's actually the entire county ordinance. It's the appendix to the county ordinance. So
County ordinance for,
McHenry County.
Yeah, our compliant
Okay.
ordinances.
okay. Recreational vehicle or travel trailer, a vehicle which is built on a single chassis, 400 square feet or less when measured at the largest horizontal projection, designed to be self-propelled or permanently towable by a light-duty truck, and designed primarily not for use as a permanent dwelling, but as temporary living quarters for recreational camping travel or seasonal use.
Okay. So I was just double checking with Kim, because section 17 is the stormwater section. We believe that the reference that should be made should be from the Unified Development Ordinance, section 16.08, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, I'm just going to look in the definitions here.
Right, and I wasn't able, Madam Chairman, I wasn't able to locate a definition for recreational vehicles despite reading all sorts of interesting sections in the county ordinance. until one came to Article 17. And that was not referenced in the Unified Development Ordinance directly. And given that we're now trying to define it, I would propose that definition.
Well, this is a lot more than, I mean, we have to be clear on where this definition is coming from if we're going to cite specific something for this
So
petition.
the citation is 17 what?
This is site 17.04.260, Appendix 12.
Definitions, okay. Excuse us for a second.
Where's the definition in the UDO, so that is 16 definitions.
Okay.
And that is what she references.
Okay. Since our hearing today is off of the Unified Development Ordinance, in section 16.08, under our definitions, our definition of recreational vehicle is a vehicle designed as temporary living quarters and/or for recreational, camping, or travel use, which either has its own mode of power or is mounted on or drawn by another vehicle. This includes the following types: travel trailer, including fifth wheel trailers, there's a definition for that. 2, motorhome, there's a definition for that. 3, pickup coach, truck camper, definition for that. 4, camping trailer. 5, boat, and 6, boat trailer. All of those have their sub-definitions.
Okay, I don't have that in my ordinance, so it must be in an updated ordinance, that definition.
Well, is that acceptable to Mr. Cozen?
It's more encompassing, but that's the authority.
So again, to clarify, this is Article 16.08 of the
Correct.
Unified Development Ordinance.
That's correct.
I'll second the amended motion.
Thank you.
Okay, so the amended motion is that number 3, maintenance of recreational vehicles as defined by Article 16.08 of the Unified Development Ordinance shall be prohibited on site. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Did you
Any
have a second for
opposed?
that?
That was me.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So the motion was made by Mr. Cozen and seconded by Ms. Gardner. And the vote was favorable.
I propose, move acceptance of the conditions as amended.
The motion is made by Mr. Eldridge to approve the conditions as amended. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Ms. Gardner. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of the conditions? Please,
Aye.
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 All opposed? Nay? Okay, motion passes. So let me make sure I get this written down correctly. No, I'm gonna do it here and now.
That's what I did.
Okay, so at this time, I would take a motion to
I move
approve the...
approval of the conditional use with the conditions as amended.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
That makes it easy discussion, Mr. Eldridge.
This is a petition to continue a conditional use that has been in place for at least 10 years without any objection. It's in an area that is sort of, is mostly extraction or commercial industrial use. There are some estate homes in the nearby area. It is a secluded spot that has not drawn any attention really from anybody while it's been there. It's been a good neighbor and a quiet neighbor. I believe it is an appropriate use until the time comes, whenever it may come or if it may come, for further development of the area. And therefore I support the petition.
Okay, we'll start down here. Ms. Bickle.
Yes, thank you. I am concerned that this is located in a sensitive aquifer area. It is important, it's good to hear that there aren't a lot of motor power vehicles on site and that they're checked regularly. I would just advise that as your business moves forward and continues, you really consider how many motor power vehicles you want on the site. If there was an accident or something, that is the drinking water for the rest of us in Door Township. That's my only concern with this approval.
Mr. Schnabel.
Well, I agree with everything that's been said here. However, I will say that I know that there is a need for this type of storage because people that own these vehicles can't always park them on their lot at home due to ordinance or lack of room. So I do believe that there is a need, and I think overwhelmingly it's been a safe operation over the years apparently, and it should continue in such a fashion, and I will support the renewal.
Ms. Gardner.
I agree with what's been said. I've been by this site many times, and it defies me exactly where it is because you really can't see anything from the road. It's completely tucked away from the air. It looks very neat, very clean, like it's well kept. And I think this is a good place for this particular type of business, and I think it's a needed business in the area. So I'm approving.
Mr. Jers.
Tom?
Tom?
I approve of the applicant's petition.
Mr. Cozen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The public record supports this application of facts. The surrounding land use is one that almost gives rise to the creation of the application, but more so the testimony of the applicant using the word garbage is a planning term that I welcome and therefore welcome the approval of this application.
And I agree with what's been said. I think there haven't been any changes around here. This has been a use that hasn't had any negative impacts on the surrounding property, and I think it'll go forward with no changes, so I'm in favor of the request. So I will call for the vote. Mr. Eldridge?
Yes.
Ms. Gardner?
Yes.
Mr. Cozen?
Yes.
Mr. Schnabel?
Yes.
Ms. Beverly?
Yes.
Mr. Jers?
Yes.
And I will vote yes, so this will go to the county board with a 7-0 approval.
Thank you.
There's nothing else to come before this board?
Just advise the board that we do have meetings throughout